Hello and welcome to ACS Golf and this week's review. Well, I'm looking at this, the Titleist TSR4 driver. Now, the reason I'm looking at this driver is because I've always wanted to try it, because it is a low spin bomber, and for me this time of year it is a perfect time to give it a go. I've been increasing my swing speed, getting some serious distance out on the golf course, got over 300 yards quite a few times. Don't get me wrong, it was when it was nice and dry. Now we're in autumn already and it's not that case at all, but still I'm still hitting it a lot further than I used to, and therefore I'm getting onto par fives, or definitely having the option of getting on par fives in two. So I thought it was perfect time to try this, not only to test it for myself but also to review it for you guys as well. If you're a long hitter out there and you also like that more compact looking driver, which I personally do, and also you want something that you can work really well, move it left to right, this is potentially a great option. So that's why I picked it up to review for you guys today. As always, what we're going to do is we're going to have a closer look at this club, come back here, go through all the technologies in it, going to get down to the range and throw you probably my best figures so far on this channel with a driver. Just awesome. And then we're going to come back here and go through the ACS Golf scale, and I will discuss at the end of the video if you go for it, or potentially if there's some other cheaper options out there, because yes, this was released in 2022. Yes, you have the new GT range out at the moment, which I think gets replaced next year, at some point next year, end of next year. So this will become even cheaper, but still it has held its value quite well. I was going to say quite highly then. It's held its value quite well because it's quite sought after, because it's a very specific driver. You're not going to go for this just to give it a go if you're an average golfer. You're going for this because you really want it and you need this type of club in your bag. So there you go. I'll give a few options at the end of this video. Okay, so without further ado, what we're going to do is have a closer look at this club. So there you go, and this thing's gorgeous. This is right up my street. It's not that big of a club. It's quite a small profile. It's just that sort of squat better player look, which I absolutely adore. Don't get me wrong, I'm playing my QI35 this year, the core model. But for me, that's just, I don't really like the look of it. I think it looks great, the whole carbon fiber look, but it's very long at the back. It's very built for forgiveness. Well, this is just built for your better player, low spin monster, and I love the shape of it. Obviously as well, love the TSR head cover, really good looking thing. And as you would guess with Titleist, obviously it is a good looking driver overall. So really, really pleased with it. They're just classics, aren't they? They really are classics. All over the years, they have kept that classic look. Now, just going into the technology that's in this club. So the ultimate low spin driver. So if excess spin is the enemy, the Titleist TSR4 is the answer. It offers two different spin reduction settings, improved aerodynamics, and our new multi-plateau VFT face construction, all housed in a compact 430cc player preferred shape. There you go, that 430cc player preferred shape. That compact shape, what I absolutely love. Benefits: dual CG design, piercing trajectories, compact player preferred shapings. Features: multi-plateau, as I mentioned, VFT, which is variable face thickness design, adjustable spin control, aerospace grey titanium, improved aerodynamics, and obviously your sure fit adjustability, where you can loft this up by 1.5 degrees and you can loft it down by, I always forget, loft it down by 0.75 degrees. So there you go. Just getting really into the technology. So adjustable spin control. So TSR4 provides both fore and aft weighting options to allow even more players to experiment with gaining distance through lower spin. The forward setting produces maximum spin reduction, while the aft is more moderate, creating more of a TSR 3.5 performance profile. So that's quite cool, really. So it puts it sort of in its own little category. Now, for me, I put the heavier weight at the back because even though, as I've mentioned, the swing speed has increased. For me, I still don't really get that launch, and it's an 8-degree head. I tend to play a 12-degree head just to help me with the launch. So an 8-degree head, which I did loft up to 9.5, you know, for me, I need that spin at the back, because if not, things not getting in the air, and it's going to be a low, low, low bullet. So there you go. So I put the heavyweight at the back, which is just for my settings. But obviously, if you wanted to, you could put it to the front and get even more low spin. You know, so mine was a TSR 3.5. So there you go. Multi-plateau VFT design, so variable face thickness across all the boards. They all do it nowadays. Similar to TSR2, this variable face thickness construction is used in the TSR4 to build the face inward layer by layer, offering more consistent speed and distance across the entire hitting surface. Player tune performance. The TSR4 is an ultra low spin driver, but it's also a Titleist. That means focusing on every detail, from the feel of the club as it moves through the air to the sound it makes it impact. The tuning everything to meet the standards of our players. You know, Titleist, you know, most played driver on tour. People love it, and I find it crazy that I've actually never played a Titleist driver. So played Cobra, played TaylorMade, played Mizuno drivers over the years. I've never actually put a Titleist driver in the bag. Maybe next year will be the year, because every time I test them, I think they're great, but for some reason they just don't quite make it into my bag. I have no idea why, to be honest, because they are fantastic. Sure fit hosel adjustability. So a player that performs better. The Sure Fit system gives a fitter the flexibility to adjust, perfectly match the performance of TSR4 to the needs of each individual player, helping you make purer and more consistent strikes. As I mentioned, you can loft this up by 1.5 degrees and down by 0.75 degrees, but you can also change the lie. One thing I really like with the Titleist, with the Callaway, definitely with the Cobra nowadays as well, is you can loft it up and keep the lie the same. With TaylorMade, it actually changes the lie. Well, that's what, if you look online, it changes the lie slightly. You know, with these clubs, you know, they keep it the same. Just change that club face. Just change that club face. Just change that loft, which I really, really enjoy. I really do like that. Not the end of the world for TaylorMade. Still a really good system. It's still a great system for the others out there. But just for me, Titleist, Callaway, you know, definitely obviously Cobra nowadays are really in tune to that fitting process. I really like the options that you can get. It's really cool. Obviously you've got premium shafts with this, you know, as you'd expect, but in the TSR4, 8 degrees, 9 degrees and 10 degrees with the only 3 heads you can get, nothing above that, and both right hand and left hand in both, which I think is great, because a lot of the time with maybe their low spin ones or something like that, maybe 8 degrees on some of these clubs, you know, you can only get right hand, you know, or their, you know, 12 degrees, you're going to get left hand. You know, with this, across the board, you can get right hand and left hand, which I think is a really good thing from Titleist, because obviously there are left-hand golfers out there. Went to Wentworth this week, met, you know, Robert McIntyre, got a signature, great. You know, and he is a lefty, one of the best lefties out there. So, you know, and obviously Phil Nicholson as well, big old lefty. So yeah, it's important, I think, to get them, well, to be able to give you guys the options if you're left-handed. So yeah, really pleased with that. All right, now, without further ado, let's get down to range and let's discuss the monster that is this driver. All right, see you in a bit. Here I'm down at the range with the Titleist TSR4. Now, for me, drivers now, because I'm hitting, well, quite far, because I've increased my ball speed, anything 260, 270 plus is good. And this was better than good. This was awesome. So 247 yards carry, 281 yards total distance, ball speed 163 miles per hour, launch angle 10 degrees, height 73 feet, with the quickest on the day, ball speed by the way 173 miles per hour. It was a lot of fun really going for it with this club. You know, if I was on a golf course, I would be really worried about it, because I wouldn't really know where it's going to go, because it is unforgiving. But at the range where you can just really just go for it, it is a lot of fun. Now, longest on the day was 268 yards carry, 299 yards total distance, ball speed 164 miles per hour, launch angle 12 and height 91 feet. When I got that launch angle a little bit high, I was so close to getting that 300 mark. There was a few actually around the 299 ones and some others in the 290s. You know, this thing was long. However, obviously unforgiving, as you'd expect. You know, shortest was only 245 yards carry and only 261 yards total distance. And here's those numbers in the table for you. Overall as well with the club, you know, lots of workability in it. Move it left and right, that's why it's a little bit unpredictable for me. Felt pretty nice off the face, not as nice as all Titleists have before, and I'll explain that in a second, but also the sound of it was really, really good as well. Overall, a fantastic looking club, and which does exactly what it says on the tin, and that is to be very, very long. So what can I say? Oh, 247 carry on average, total distance 281 yards, ball speed a whopping 163 miles per hour, launch angle 10 degrees, you know, being at 9.5, I'm not surprised by that, height 73 feet. Longest on the day was a whopping 268 yards carry, 299 yards total distance. I will, before the end, hopefully review a club and get it over the 300 yards on one of these videos. At the moment, I am down the range. I am getting over them every now and again, especially when I'm feeling quite loose on the day, but not quite yet on a review. So hopefully we'll get at least one shot over the 300 yard mark before the year is out. I don't think I've had one over the review. I've definitely had some with the wind with me. I can't remember. Let me know if in the comments down below if I have done a review and said I go over 300. I have a horrible feeling I might have done now. I've definitely been close. Anyway, 299. Wish it was over 300. That'd be really cool. But anyway, 164 ball speed. Really happy with that. 12 degrees launch, 91 feet and height. Really pleased. Absolute monster of a drive. Best ball speed I got was 173 miles per hour. Oh, you know, when I really, really went for it. That went to 290. Just, you know, 11 degrees. Didn't quite get there. So yeah, really pleased with that. Shortest on the day was 245 yards, total distance 261 yards, ball speed still 163 miles per hour, launch angle 11 and height 99 feet. Just obviously a little bit spinny in the air. Didn't work out that well. And there was a few, you know, that did drop under that 160 mark. I mean, I got one at 152 miles an hour, to be fair. I don't know how I still managed that not to be the shortest, but it obviously was really good in the way it came out. But yeah, so there is a bit of fluctuation between the top speed and the low speed on this, which I'm not surprised, because this is not going to be a forgiving club. This is a better players club. You know, the idea with that weight at the back, yes, it's a 3.5 Titleist TSR3. It's not saying it's got the same forgiveness as this TSR3. And remember, the TSR3 isn't the most forgiving driver. TSR2 is more forgiving, and the TSR1 is more forgiving than that. So you know it is an unforgiving beast, and I can see that with my results and also with my dispersion, because it was all over the shop. You know, my main thing is with my drive, to be fair, you know, when I'm swinging well, I tend not to miss a fairway. Obviously it does happen every now and again, but I tend not to miss. It's definitely one of the best parts of my game. However, with this, I was just all over the place. I was thinking on the day I was actually swinging quite well, but anyway, really, really pleased with those results. Absolute monster when it comes down to just the total distance. So let's get into the ACS Golf scale. So remember, we've got 5 categories: distance, feel, looks, price, and forgiveness. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now, distance, shock horror, 5 out of 5. I'm not even going to dwell on it anymore. 5 out of 5. This thing is just a monster. It's long, as I've mentioned. It is brilliant. So there you go. Can't complain about it. Really, really, really pleased with it. Anything that's getting up to 300 yards, oof, yes, there you go. And a ball speed 173 miles per hour. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Really, really pleased. Feel's a bit of a weird one for this, because Titleist for me are definitely the best feeling drivers out there, with the Mizunos and with the Cobras. But this was actually not as nice as Titleist as I've tried before, like the TSR2 I've reviewed, you know, and I think it's down to the fact it's a little bit smaller, there's more weight at the front, so it's a little bit more compact, so it felt a little bit harder off the face, not as soft and as pleasant as other Titleist clubs. You know, I play as TSR2 plus fairwood, that's my fairwood, I love the feel of that, but this just felt a little bit harder, which I was quite surprised by. Still not bad, but definitely not what I'd expect from a Titleist, and that's because it's a smaller club. You know, it's 430cc, you got more weight at the front, etc. So for me, feel 4 out of 5. Still nice, still knew where my miss hits were, but because, you know, I was just a bit shocked by the feel, just felt a lot more firm off the face than I was expecting. So maybe, to be fair, 4 out of 5 might be a bit harsh. Maybe it should be 4.5, but it just doesn't feel like your normal, like your TSR2s. I think I've even tried to, you know, and the other Titleist drivers that I've tested over the years, you know, since I've been doing this channel, they've always been the best feeling drivers I've felt. This just definitely had that little bit more firmness to it. Definitely felt powerful as hell, but a little bit more firmness to it. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Still felt great, but I was just a little bit shocked. Thought it would feel a little bit nicer, but you know, that's to be expected from probably what this driver is. Looks, I'm giving this a 4.5. I don't know why I've given it 4.5 out of 5. I'm changing it. I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. That's a shocking decision. I don't know what I was thinking when I was doing that. 5 out of 5. I think this thing's gorgeous. I love the shape of it. I love the top of it. I love the bottom of it. It is just, it's beautiful. It's compact. It's exactly what I want. Maybe I've given it a 4.5 out of 5. Which I've now have changed to a 5, but maybe my original thinking is because it is a gloss head. I'm not a fan of a gloss head. For me, the sun comes down on it, especially in summer, and I'm watching the clouds going over. The next thing you know, I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, and it ends up going horribly wrong. But overall, but that's me. That's not you guys. But overall, yeah, 5 out of 5 I'm giving it because it is beautiful. It is a stunning driver. So yes, perfect, right up my street when it comes down to compact size drivers. Now, forgiveness, shock, horror, you know, with the weight at the back, maybe say 2.5, weight at the front, 1.5. I've given it a 2 out of 5. And it's not a forgiving club. You know, you're buying this because you are a better player. You're hitting it in the middle of the face majority of the time, and you want that workability. You want that spin control. You're buying it because you are a good player. You won't be buying this to make you a better player. You know, so if you're looking at your 10K models and stuff like that, you know, you're buying that to make you a better player, to keep you on the fairway more, to help you more. You know, you're buying this because you are a good player and you want to have it so that you can do exactly what a better player would want to do. You know, you want that spin control. You want to be hitting different type of shots with it. You want it to be consistent. You know, you want to be hitting that middle every single time. So there you go. I mean, you even look out on tour, and a lot of the tour players don't use a 4 model. You know, a lot of them use a TSR3 or the GT3, sorry, now obviously for the next setup. You know, a lot of them don't even use that themselves because they want that little bit more forgiveness that GT3 offers, and they can still get that lower spin profile. So do be aware of that. Forgiveness 2 out of 5. This is an unforgiving beast, as I would expect it to be. Not the most unforgiving thing I've ever tested, and maybe you could say I'm being a bit harsh with the 2 out of 5, but as I've mentioned, you know, some of the drop-offs, you know, we're talking 173 max, or I was swinging, you know, went all hell leather with that, and the average is 163, so let's say the average 163, but then suddenly we're going down to 152. You know, that's a big drop-off. That's 11 miles per hour drop-off there, you know, and I didn't think necessarily that was a bad hit, so do be aware of it. 2 out of 5. It is a little bit unforgiving beast, and it's not just a drop off with the speed. It's because it's that workability with it is made to work. You know, if you keep the face slightly open, it is going to go left to right. If you keep it close, it's going to go right to left. You know, these 10K drivers, they're trying to keep it straight as possible, regardless of the sort of that club face being open or closed. You know, the whole point is that workability. So if you're not square to it, it's not going to go where you want it to go. You know, yeah. So that's why my dispersion was so over it, because I was just concentrating on hitting it as hard as I could. You know, it's a shaper's dream, basically. This club is a shaper's dream. If you want to be able to shape it left to right, you know, it's perfect for you. But if you put a bad hit on it and the club's slightly open, it's going to go shooting to the right. So yeah, 2 out of 5, just because of the dispersion as well, not only the distance. But that's expected, and I'm happy with it, because I knew exactly when I picked this up to review for you guys, it was going to be that, because it is their most unforgiving model in the range. Okay, so there you go. Now on to price. So price on eBay, you know, look around sort of between the cheapest I've seen is around 210 all the way up to 240. I've seen them gone cheaper than that, but they're without shafts. So, you know, 210 up to 240. So you're looking at what, $285, you know, $315 sort of thing. Golf Bidder, it's a second-hand store over here in the UK, you're looking around £250, which is around $340. Not in a great shape, but, you know, for them, it's still, you know, definitely playable. And then you sort of like go, well, okay, what's the other options? You know, Callaway Triple Diamond, you know, Paradigm from the same year, 2022, because you had, oh, is it 2022? No, 2023. So the AI Smoke last year, and you got the Elite. So a year, well, same period as this, pretending a year newer. You know, that Triple Diamond Monster. Obviously, you got the Rogue ST Triple Diamond the year before, which is also in the same period, which is even cheaper than that. You know, Triple Diamond, you know, Paradigm's going under £200, so $268. So there's a lot of other options out there. Low spin monsters that still have the same sort of workability, maybe not as much workability, but, you know, as unforgiving as this, that Triple Diamond Paradigm, by the way, is so unforgiving. It is an absolute monster. I actually reviewed it. I'm pretty sure I reviewed it last year. Let me just have a quick look. Oh, I did the AI Smoke triple diamond. I give that 2.5. And that's fair enough. The triple diamond AI Smoke, which I did last year, it had a little bit more forgiveness in it. It was the paradigm last year, which is the year before, which is just ridiculously unforgiving. If you did not know that, it was just crazy. So probably less forgiving this actually, but you know, there are other options out there, and you can go down the tailor-made route and all that sort of, you know, Stealth 2 Plus, you know, the QI 10 Plus and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, lots of options out there. But for me, because you're getting a quality product, because, you know, it is long, you know, it's going to do exactly what the type of player who's looking for this is going to do, I'm giving it 2.5 out of 5. It's exactly where I'd expect it. And the price of it, for me, you know, you're not going to really lose any money if you test it and sell it again, because it's, you know, there's a demand for them. You know, the specific person who wants to buy them, you know, is out there. So there you go. So 2.5 out of 5, very much exactly where it should be. But if you want to really save your money, look at the triple diamonds from Callaway. Maybe go for the TSR, the TSI4 or the TS4. You know, previous years from this will probably work just as well as this. And then obviously if you want a little bit more forgiveness, then maybe go, you know, TSR3 or something like that, you know, or your, you know, your Callaway Paradigm Maxes, or not Maxes, Triple Diamond Max. They did that AI Smoke, didn't they? That was a limited edition. You got an LS Max, you know, from there. Don't know why I'm going Callaway, but Callaway Rogue, ST, had an LS Max. You know, there's plenty of other options. Ping, LST, you know, their low spin tech, you know, plenty of forgiveness in them as well. So there's loads of options out there, but for me, 2.5 out of 5, because it is what it is, and you won't be unhappy with it if you buy it, if you're looking for it. All right, guys, so there's my review of the TSR4 driver. Did not disappoint at all when it came down to distance. I wanted this to be a monster. It absolutely was. Didn't disappoint with forgiveness either, because I knew it was going to be unforgiving. Maybe the field disappoints me slightly, but not the end of the world. Looks wise, beautiful. And the person who should be buying this is someone who is a very good player. Just going to say it out there. Or, you know, you don't need to be a low handicapper. You know, you could be someone who just, the best part of their game is their driver. You know, they get to greens and 2, but they 3-putt every time, sort of thing, you know. So very, very good. But yeah, unless you do not, get my words out, if you do not hit your driver well, but you still have a quick swing speed, do not look at this. If you hit your driver really well and have a quick swing speed, this could work really well for you. All right, guys, now I hope you enjoyed this review of the Titleist TSR4 driver. A little bit of weird light here in the office. I'm not sure how these videos come out for you guys viewing it, but I hope it's still good. Comment down below if you've tried one of these. If you have, what is your thought? Or the TSR4 or the TSI4 as well. Obviously, give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And do remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss out on weekly ACS Golf reviews like this. Getting tongue-tied near the end here. ACS Golf reviews like this. New clubs every now and again on a Friday, and versus videos, and lots of videos as well. So yeah, you don't want to miss out on any of that stuff. All right, guys, I'll catch you soon for the next ACS Golf video. See you then.